All right, guys, my name is Karina Rodriguez, and I have the privilege of being here in front of two amazing people. I have Jose Santoyo with CuSoCal. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Great, great. Okay, and then we have Albert, of course, our mentor, our everything.
Hello.
So this is pretty fun. We're going different setting, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you guys do seminars, you guys do home buying consultations, you do everything, but this is a cool setting. Now we get to dive into our personalities. People get to know us. So today we're just going to have fun. We're going to have fun. I'm going to ask you a few questions, and we want to know who Jose is. We want to know who Albert is.
All right. Awesome.
So, Jose, come on. Let's talk to us. Who are you? Give us a little bit about your background, and we'll go into as far as our partnership, too. So let's first start off who you are, what you do.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
So my name is Jose Santoyo. I've been in the lending industry for close to 20 years. I've been in the credit union movement for about 15 years. So for those that don't know, credit unions are a type of lending institution. They're not big banks, they're not brokers, but they are for the community. So I've had the pleasure of working with Albert for most of my credit union career, which has been a little bit over 13 years, 14 years.
Wow, has it been that long?
14 years?
It's been that long, yeah. It's been that long that I've known this guy.
There's a bromance now.
There is a bromance, yeah, absolutely.
There's a bromance established for now.
Yeah, so I'm the better looking one, by the way, even though he'll try to take credit.
I have better taste than that.
No, we like to have fun. I think that's what the biggest takeaway from us is just that, we get along so well, and we just like to have fun. We don't take things too serious. And we're always encouraging each other. Mm-hmm. And so, whether it's your first home, if it's a move up, people are looking to refinance. I've pretty much worked with anyone and everyone from, first time home buyers to retirees and so forth. So the best part of my job is, being able to get the loans approved, so I don't necessarily look at transactions and numbers wise. Mm-hmm. It's just one of those things that, I want to make sure that I provide the service for my clients, mm-hmm. To be able to make it, to get additional referrals and make sure that, all their questions are answered. So, the biggest thing I can do for anybody is to give them options, right? Because I'm one to want options. So if I don't have options, I'm going to be pretty upset. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Yeah. Okay. Experience now for 15 years. Yeah. What made you get into this industry? So tell us a little bit about that. I know a little bit. I know it sounds like you've only been with credit unions and that's it. Well,
no, I started off, a friend of mine, mm-hmm. I was working in servicing. So I've been in real estate for over 20 years. So I did collections, for when I was 18. Mm-hmm. And then, from there I did a little bit of loss mitigation, which is basically, trying to retain money or keep homeowners from losing their homes. Mm-hmm. And then a friend of mine basically said, hey, the market's heating up, come and join me. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So I first walked in, I had no freaking clue what I was doing.
You're right.
Yeah.
With anyone.
So I walk in and then she goes, well, this is what we do. And, she gave me a piece of paper and, it's just like a checklist of things. And I was just like, okay, great. Like, this is cool. And I look at the checklist and I'm like, okay, great. Like, what's a 1003? What's a 1008? Basic questions. How do I run credit reports? And then, the systems back then were, they're not as sophisticated as they were now. Mm-hmm. I wasn't doing I wasn't writing the applications or anything, but so I get this checklist and they're like, okay, process this or send this loan to underwriting. And I was like, okay, great. So I piece this thing together, no freaking clue. And then I get it back from the underwriter. They're like with the sticky notes, like, dude, do you even know what you're doing?
This is a great start, but this guy does not qualify at all.
As with agents, though, it's with real estate agents, it's sometimes it's a sink or swim. So I did that for a couple of years, and then the housing market crashed, and then I found myself out of a job. I remember looking at with the implode meter, and I was just like, this company's going away, this company's going away. It was scary. And then so by then, like every file that I had in the pipeline, like basically like just like the company didn't exist. So I had no home for it. Yeah. So I was like, oh man. So I found myself at a credit union, just doing random stuff at the beginning. and then again, I picked up on real estate again, and I did that for a good, 13, 14 years. Before I came over to Credit Union Southern California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I learned a lot. I learned what to do and what not to do, and then basically really, become my own. So that's who we are right now. It's just, we pretty much ran a test pilot of, how to run things our way.
Yeah.
And that's the part we're just having fun now. So that's a good part.
Well, it sounds like credit unions are amazing. Let's go into what are the advantages and disadvantages of going with a credit union because, there are a lot of options out there.
Yeah.
So let's talk about why people should go with a credit union.
So I think the biggest one, so there's misconceptions out there, and likely so. There's a lot of competition out there that doesn't want credit unions to take business away. But the biggest advantage that I see is that we have the ability to underwrite our guidelines. So what that guideline is not necessarily a box. We have parameters of what we want to keep, but we have the ability to basically create stuff. So that's the best part. So like Albert would say, hey, this member was working with so-and-so. They only got qualified for X amount. Is there anything that you can do? And then I look at the information. I'm like, well, did they even consider this? And usually it was just a simple question.
Yeah.
And then we're able to get them, whether it's getting qualified for a larger amount or, just getting the deal through. And that's the best part. I think as a community, credit unions do well is that they look at the information not from a black and white, yes or no. They really try to make the deal work, and I know a lot of, brokers out there and things like that. They have a lot of different banks that they actually work for, but they don't lend their own money. So they're still going to be held to whatever box is created for them. And so that's my advantage, so we're talking about like, jumbo fixed rates, like portfolio rates. Like we're pretty much untouchable at this very moment. Are we the best all the time? Absolutely not. But are we the best right now? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's just, that's one of the things that I've come across. Aside from that, the other thing with the credit union, it's a movement really just because when you actually fund a loan, and the credit union actually takes those funds and actually reinvest it back into the community. So I'll give you an example. Right. So if you go with, let's say, Wells Fargo, Chase, right? They have their investors, right? So a lot of you probably don't know about this, but so what happens is they're money driven, right? So they're really looking at the numbers all day, right? And believe me, numbers are important, but their numbers that they're looking to do is to drive for the investors' purpose, right? So they're the winners are going to be the investors. True, they do get a mortgage at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, that money gets the proceeds get divided into the investors. Whereas we're credit unions, we take that money, offer lower rates. Right now, I know our credit union's offering a 5% CD rate.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So, 5%, we're going to get that. Like nowhere else. So little things like that, but I think the biggest thing is having that knowledge of, and all the experience that we've had, and how to work at things. So, when I look at a file, I don't look at it like, oh, like I can't do this. It's just like, how can I make this work? And if I can, at the end of the day, I can. Yeah. But at least I was able to, give it a run.
And I feel like with credit unions, you can feel that energy, right? It's all family oriented. You really have a strong support system there. Yeah, They're really going to help you make that happen, whether it's there or not. They will figure out a way.
It's a movement.
It really is.
Yeah, I feel like it's like a synergy almost. You know, it's just like you start talking about it, and people are like, "Oh my god, I get it," and people get excited about it. And next thing you know, we have it. So the credit unions is a movement. Yeah, and that's just the way we position ourselves. It's a the personal touch is definitely big. I've had experiences recently, having to deal with, financial stuff for my parents. And, we went to, top-notch, personal bankers and so forth. They're great, but I'm looking around and I'm like, oh, man, this is like not for me, I go into the credit union, like take, for instance, our Anaheim branch or even Fullerton branch. Like you walk in there and what happens?
Right.
Like you get greeted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they know you for many years. They know your name. They call you.
That's right.
It's a whole different thing. You're family to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's and then so you take that from a teller perspective or from a real estate perspective, and it's just I think that's the bigger concept is that we're family.
Yeah.
So we treat each other like family.
Yeah.
So for the good things, right?
Yeah. And I think that's a perfect little segue to kind of go into how this partnership happened.
Yeah.
So Albert, go ahead and share, how this came about, this partnership. I know you guys been together for many, many years. How did you get into the credit unions?
We haven't been together. We've known each other for many years. Clarify.
Sorry. Not together, no. But, you guys had this really strong partnership.
This bromance.
Yeah.
Romance.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the reasons why this has worked so well is because when we started working together, we understood that we share the same philosophy, and that was that we are straight shooters, right? At the end of the day, that's how we started, and we got to now. So he respected the way that I conducted my business because we were professional and ethical at every single step of the way, incredibly transparent with our clients, and he was the same.
Yeah.
So that was the basis of why we actually started developing this working relationship, and it just has grown closer and closer over the years. And we've just been supporters of each other. The reality is that in the real estate world, as well as the mortgage world, we both need each other.
Yeah.
See, I can't close on a sale without a loan.
Right.
And he can't put a loan together if I don't open an escrow. So we have the process of buying a home is dependent on both of us. So he is an extension of me, and I am an extension of him. Yeah. So understanding and sharing the same philosophy has been integral to our success. And over the years, we've grown together, and we've done more business and more business. We were at a previous partnership with a credit union, and we did as well as we could based on those parameters. But we felt there was a better way of doing it.
Yeah. So, at the end of the day, like you said, the previous organization does things really well, but there's a lot of limitations, So at the end of the day, it's the same with your industry. It's like, I don't want to just be an order taker either. So like we wanted to make it our own. So like, what better way to have our personality come out in all of our transactions than actually with CuSoCal Home Loans right now.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what's led us to where we are today. Is being able to like take that step back and looking around and saying, you know what, I'm pretty sure I can take what I've learned and make it bigger and grow it bigger. And
that's because the market has dictated that that's where it needs to go.
Yep.
The market has changed, and so we as realtors and as loan officers, we need to adapt to that change as well.
Yeah.
Our consumer is very different than it was before. Their needs are very different, and the marketplace is very different. So we've been able to understand those changes. But more importantly, what makes us and sets us apart is that we're able to deliver information to our clients and in a way that allows them to make decisions.
Yes.
You can come with the options and show them, but that doesn't mean they know which one to take, right? But if you deliver that information in a way that allows them to make decisions and move forward, then you've done a really good job, and you set yourself apart from anybody else.
Yeah, another thing too that we've been doing a lot has been, we've been present at each other's meetings, so
I really like that.
Yeah.
I think that's a great.
Right.
Everything.
So as far as like, whether it's a home buying consultation from the lending side point, Albert's right then and there, because why are we going to give the information and then have them turn around and then, and then from there, wait a couple days, while we can have someone right then and there be able to answer the questions. And as we know, the transaction takes two parts, so it's not just the loan side, and it's also the real estate side.
Yeah.
So we can go ahead and do that at the same time. That's going to capture more business a lot quicker.
And I don't see a lot of people doing that. It's just more so like, hey, here's my client, Jose.
Yeah.
Figure it out, see what they qualify for, and just let me know what comes back.
It's been very fragmented when lending is one side and real estate is another, and I think it's been somewhat by design. But the reality is that that does empower the consumer to make decisions. What we really need is this team approach where we're both there from the beginning, advising and educating, pros and cons, every step of the way. Just to kind of give you an example, while Jose is looking up the numbers, going through the equation of how much you qualified, we're actually taking that information and visualizing it. So congratulations, you've been approved for $600,000. Then I jump in and I go,
what does that look like?
This is what it means. What does that look like? Now, whether the consumer likes it or not, that's not of our hands. That's the market, right?
Yeah.
But it's very different when you get a pre-approval and it says 600,000. Then go figure it out versus here's an approval at 600,000 and here's what it means to you.
Yes.
Another thing too, like Albert was saying, like it's instant visualization, you know, because, you know, and another thing too is that you can have that immediate feedback right then and there. So if, let's say, for instance, the 600,000 doesn't necessarily get you what it is that you want, okay, well, let's look at it. Let's take a step back. You know, are we able to expand, you know, this is Albert's side, by the way, but I'm with him so much, I already know his spiel so much. Are we able to expand that? Yeah. You know, at the same time, I'm looking at it from a different perspective. Like, are we able to, you know, ask questions that they may not necessarily thought of?
Yeah.
You know, is it intergenerational families? Or is there, those are the basic concepts. And, you know, our success thus far has been being able to do that simultaneously at the same time, right then and there. So that's the secret sauce, everybody.
And you guys both grow knowledge.
Right.
Well,
With, you know, on your side, his side.
yeah,
both.
and that and actually puts accountability on us on the spot too.
Right.
If you think about it, because, you know, I'm not necessarily there. I mean, you know, we're well versed in our professions, and so we have the tools to be able to, you know, decipher this information right then and there. So that's a good thing, and you know, and it at the end of the day, like Albert said, it is teamwork. This new industry, this new market, has required everybody to pivot. Now, those that haven't necessarily caught on yet, they'll figure it out in the next
Year or two.
which is fine. But we're small enough. I'm capable enough to make that instant pivot.
Right.
You know, and I have no restrictions, which is the best part, to say who I can and can't work with.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
That's
so
key.
that's key. Yes, because if I'm working for a Chase or any other large organization, they're going to say, well, these are your preferred partners, and so forth. And why am I going to do that?
Yeah.
You know, why am I going to restrict myself? The only thing that's going to restrict is the options to my client, right? And really, at the end of the day, the restrictions to make a profit for my family.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you want to share a little bit as far as why you work with us? I mean, do you want to
with you
kind
guys?
of put a little spotlight on us and kind of
Sure.
share, you know,
Other than the bromance?
the bromance. You know what?
are we different from any other realtors? Or actually, do you even work with other realtors?
I do. I absolutely. Yeah. No.
What?
No.
Excuse me?
Yes, I do. I get along with everybody, right? So as with everyone, you know, we all have our preferred partners and
Right.
so forth. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, we're going to work with the individuals that we're most comfortable with, and that's true for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, that's the referral system is going to tell you. You know, I'm going to refer X person because I like you, I trust you. You know, and you can get things done.
Yeah.
Right. And so, for that, you know, again, I have the ability to work with anybody and everybody, and we have a large pool of credit union members that are looking for homes. So I'm going to be looking for the individuals that I'll be working with the individuals that I know have that consistency of experience, of quality service, feedback, and then also at the end of the day, we get along so well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we have before this official podcast, you know, we've been doing our what would we call it, our chats online and so forth, and they're fun, but you know, that's really how you get to know an individual. You know, is take it outside of the office. And you know, you guys have joined me with a lot of branch outings. You know, you guys are in there putting in the work, and that's what really sets you guys apart, is that as realtors, you are not just waiting for the next referral to come into your lap.
Right.
You're actually putting in the work, the hustle, and vice versa. I'm actually putting in the effort to grow our pies together. Sure. You know, so that's the biggest thing. So as far as like, why do I work with you guys? I mean, at the end of the day, you guys are badasses, you know? No, the transparency is key, you know, for your clients. And then at the end of the day, you know, if for any reason there's some sort of hiccup along the way, you know, we're able to actually quickly resolve it, because we're not going to hurt each other's feelings.
Right.
Because the faster we get things done, you know, we're not trying to find the reason why things fell apart. We're just like, let's figure things out right then and there, you know? So that's the best
And then
part.
you're within reach too. It's like
This guy,
I can catch you on Instagram. I can text you. I can FaceTime you. Like it's just
Yes,
That's how
I am not 8 to 5. That's the thing. You know, this market does not allow you. I can't turn off my cell phone or unplug myself because the reality is that we have to be available when the clients are available.
And I think that's important for us too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Availability.
I usually say if I'm working, you're working.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
and then so like going with our own, with CuSoCal, you know, that's really what really they honed in on. It's just like you are, Jose Santoyo Incorporated, own it.
Yes.
So I'm like, let's do this.
Yeah.
You know?
So you
and
just
it's
took off. And,
oh yeah. Like there's a lot of we've been doing a lot of stuff, but now it's just like, we ask for forgiveness and permission, this type of thing. But within reason, but we understand the parameters that we're working with. And at the end of the day, we're gonna do things differently because we know too often that things are done the same way. We're at the end of the day, like what makes ourselves stand out from each other and or from the industry is exactly little things like this. All the co-branding that we've been doing. So when they think CuSoCal Home Loans, they're also thinking True Inmobiliaria.
Inmobiliaria.
I'm still getting used to the name there.
Yes, it doesn't roll off easily.
It doesn't roll off. Yeah, my R's just don't roll off.
That was Albert's intention.
Inmobiliaria.
It was by design.
It was
Yeah.
by design. Yeah, trying to mess you guys up. Yeah. But yeah. But so that's in a nutshell. I think that's what we do well.
Yeah.
Are we perfect? Absolutely not. But are we getting there? We're making strides,
Yeah.
and we're definitely trailblazing a lot of things for the industry. So start small as we gain that energy, and then we're going to create that synergy. So that's the part that's exciting. And you guys are so awesome that why wouldn't I work with you? I don't like agents calling me, and vice versa. I don't call agents to say, hey, what will they tell you? Are you ready to expand your market? No.
Yes.
Ready to take on some new clients.
Are you ready to take on some new clients? Well,
no.
that's
Yeah.
Of course not.
Yeah.
those are the basic things that we don't do. It's like we're gonna do things differently, but we're gonna do things the right way. The things that
Yes.
that the way they should be intended.
Yeah.
Yeah, we understood that the market was again changing, every so often, and that as you see in the news reported, there's less sales and less sales. Obviously, there's less opportunities for everybody in our industry. So we understood that people are going to work with people that they know, they like, and they trust. Mm-hmm. So it's going to become a relationship-based market. So individual pots like the ones that we're creating are going to be so instrumental and successful. Necessary for success of realtors and loan consultants alike. So partnership is going to be the name of the game. Most people are still not realizing that, but for the next few years is going to be local, community-based partnerships, what's going to drive the market.
Yeah, some of the things that I've noticed too in attending a lot of these chambers is that a lot, like they're really honed in on the community, and while these larger organizations, which I think are gonna be, if not completely gone, those brick and mortar institutions,
right.
or they're definitely gonna be decreased in size. It has to. Right now, it's not sustainable. As far as like, for these larger organizations to stay afloat. And so while some of them do good, I think majority are going to be decreasing in size. That's just my own personal opinion.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't have the data points to tell you why. But it's that gut feeling, and so I need to attach myself to an organization that is nimble and really on next level stuff.
No, that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're trying to definitely be that next level stuff. Well, because we realize that the value of those organizations it's a human capital.
Yep.
So some of the broker models are successful, but because of the human capital they have. So it comes down to the people that are in the trenches. You who is in front of consumers every day. You who are showing properties every day as well. That's really where the knowledge is. That's where the day-to-day happens. And so we need to empower you guys to be able to deliver on those needs of the market as soon as we possibly can.
I'll give you two examples right now that I can think of how you guys empower and make things a lot easier for the overall transaction as well. So I'll compare you to, let's say, Joe Schmo agent, right? Sorry, Joe Schmo. So when we get a file, when we receive a file, right? A lot of times we're waiting on stuff, and so what you guys do really well is you package the deal together. So where the information is right in front of me. So I don't have to go chasing for the information like who's the escrow, who's the contact for title, who's this, who's that.
Well, we're well organized. That's for
yeah,
sure.
no, very much so. And by design, I know Albert, like I said, we've been working for so long, and that's one of the things that that he's done so well is to take that and make that across the board with all of you. So when I compare that to other some agents, not every agent, we're they're so excited and so forth, and they send me the deal. Oh, great, I got the contract. And then I start asking for information. And then I have a deadline because now I'm the promise maker, so I need to be turned into the promise keeper. So the function of it takes a community, right? Or it takes a village to get things done. And then so you guys are already 2 steps ahead.
Yeah.
So that's one way you guys do make things easier. The other example, how you guys set yourselves apart from other agents is that you are, like I said earlier, you guys are right along with us. So if I have a community event, let's say in downtown Anaheim at the Promenade and so forth, I just send a text message, hey guys, I'm going to be doing this, and you guys right away, I'll be there.
Yeah, right.
And that's not necessarily by design for myself to get assistance. It's because I know that at that point my team, which is the branch with the branch managers and so forth, are so grateful that they have that extra body because we're much smaller than, let's say, those larger credit unions. And so we need everybody in their place. So we can kind of come in and actually offset some of their, some of their human, I don't want to say capital, but if we're able to help out in any way, not only is that going to help them relieve the stress of losing a body at where instead of being in a branch, but also it creates that bond with the team.
Yeah.
Because I can go in there, or excuse me, any of you can go into any of my branches, and
they know us.
They know us now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know you. So if I'm not available, then they can reach out to you, and that is gold. Who else can say that?
Yeah, not a lot.
Yeah, and that's a lot of branches too, by the way.
Yeah, that's a lot of branches.
Good amount there.
Yeah, it's a good amount of branches. Yeah. So
great. Well, do you want to share, what are you dealing with your members right now as far as pre-approving them?
Okay.
Do you want to share any current transactions that you're dealing with that, you kind of piece them together, like problem cases where you had to get creative in qualifying a buyer. So do you want to share kind of any stories behind that, how you made it happen for them? Because I'm sure a lot of people are out there and wondering, can I get pre-approved for a loan or,
Right.
So I can think maybe just running some scenarios for them because they might be in the same situation.
Yeah, that's a good question.
So let's just kind of.
Yeah. So, one of the one success story that we recently closed yesterday, in fact, was a family that came into our first seminar, right?
Yep.
Yeah. It was our very first seminar that we did in August of last year. And so we met with them. So they were obviously excited to be able to, to start this this new path of homeownership. And so we met with them. We gave them the numbers. The numbers didn't necessarily,
it wasn't what they were expecting.
It was not what they were expecting.
Was it just too low?
It was too low, right?
Okay.
Yeah, for
so
the
they
income
couldn't
amount.
buy anything.
Right.
Well, they could buy something, just
but
not in
just
Southern
not-
California.
More in like the Midwest or something.
Out in the desert somewhere.
Yeah.
But and even then they're expensive out there too. But so it wasn't what they wanted, and then so but we gave them the options, and then but we did plant the seed to say, hey. Because again, one of the questions is it intergenerational families? Is there anything else going on? Is there families out there? Do you happen to have a brother or sister that's going to be, happy to be moving in with you?
Right.
Basic
Asking
questions.
those questions,
Just asking those questions, and then so that way I'm not necessarily making that decision for them. I'm just planting the seeds for them to actually consider it.
Yeah.
So so we left it at that. We had the conversation. They thanked us for their time, but what we did give them was we gave them a roadmap.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So that's key. That's the key takeaway. So we didn't just say sorry,
Yeah.
400 is all
Nothing
you can
can
get
happen
approved.
right now,
Yeah.
so you're going to have to wait another year or two.
No,
Like,
not at
that's
all.
just-
No. So what we did was we gave them the roadmap to say, you know what, we understand that this is where you're going to be. So regardless of where you're at right now, this is how much you need to be prepared for.
Okay.
Because
so when was your seminar? Let's talk timeline. So
Sure.
the seminar
so
was
seminar
when?
was back in August.
Back in August of last year.
Right.
Okay.
We met them or their first appointment like literally a week
after
the
we
week
had,
after
we had the
met.
consultation together.
Okay,
So we had a
perfect.
consultation, and then they reached out to us back in December.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Few
it
months
was
in,
it was a
okay.
few months. It was four months of time frame. But
So within August and December,
Yep.
they already had that roadmap that you guys gave them.
Yes.
yeah, and not only that, but their life situation also changed.
Oh, and what is that life change?
A baby.
Oh my gosh!
So guess what? It went from a hey, let's take a look at this to like the urgency
Yeah.
lit up.
Yes.
And so at that point, that, and they took the information, the suggestion of that seed that we planted, and they leveraged it, and that is how we create, those type of scenarios. So they came back, got them pre-approved in the same day actually,
Okay.
and then right away it was one of those instances where we handed them off to your team, and then so Albert.
So December came by.
December
So
came by.
did he now send over to you, Albert, in
Yes.
December?
Uh-huh.
You started showing them properties?
Sort of.
Sort of.
We kind of had a property in mind already.
Oh,
So
okay.
we went over and I literally just showed him one house.
One house.
Yes.
Which is rare.
I feel guilty. Just one house. And they were like, nope, we want this one.
Okay.
Yeah. And then so I mean,
But that one house had 11 offers.
Yeah.
In this market in December.
And this was in December. And December is usually, for those of you, it's a slower market.
Slow, yeah.
So we're not coming across multiple offers. We're, not too crazy. But you're telling me 11 offers in.
This
so that's
was a single family home in the North Orange County area, priced at $650,000, 4-bedroom, single family home.
Okay.
So yeah, there was a group very aggressively priced, and it had about 11 to 13 offers on it.
Oh my.
And it sold for more than the $650 that they were asking, and we were the winning bid.
Okay, and how did you make that happen for them? How did you structure your offer? What would you say was the winning cause of this offer? What would you say?
A couple of different factors. So we were first strategizing as to what price to offer.
Yeah.
And we realized we needed to be higher than 650, which is we didn't know how much higher we needed to be. So at that point, it's just kind of a gamble. Like, just give it your best
Right.
chance. I tell clients a lot of the times, put yourself in the opposite, meaning that what if I call you tomorrow and I say, sorry, you lost the house because you only offer 675. Would you be angry at yourself? Yes. Well, then pay the 675,
Yeah.
right? So we kind of go through that same scenario metric. But what really helped is that I call the agent and I try to get as much information as I could. And sometimes agents are really forthcoming with the information. Sometimes they're not.
Yeah,
And
you
when
gotta
they are,
get it out.
you still have to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
So more importantly, we went back to the member and we said, how much is this house really worth to you?
Yeah.
What is what you're willing to pay at the end of the day and not regret it? Find that number that makes you happy that you own this house, and that's your best offer, and make that your offer. And so we did. And without revealing the actual number, because it hasn't closed.
Oh, okay.
Well,
It's
no, it
almost
actually
there.
did close yesterday.
they closed.
Oh, okay.
We made that offer and we got it.
And you got
got
it.
it.
They got the offer accepted.
We got it. We got the offer accepted, and not only that, we got a credit, and not only that, we got repairs on it.
Yeah.
It was
the
good story all the way around.
Wow.
As far as like the credit and the repairs and all that was a surprise. That was actually like a godsend, actually.
Really? Do you think that helped them out in their... So you pre-approved them.
Yeah.
You did the roadmap. What other additional things did you have to structure in the loan for
Well-
them? Because I know, now the urgency is there.
Yep.
They need to buy a home.
Yep.
So what little tweaks did you have to do in order for them to make it happen? Because from August and December, that's not a long time. So you really, a lot has to change, or you had to do certain things.
Well, the motivation was already there for
Yeah,
one, right?
okay.
And at the end of the day, I'm not there to convince anybody to
Yeah.
to buy.
Right.
They have to come up to their own conclusion. But what we do is provide the information. So when Albert's saying that they had multiple options or amounts, and he's having that conversation, Albert will proactively say, "Hey, do me a favor, send me three examples of what the payments will look like right on the spot. And then so I'm like, it's super simple. It takes 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then so we go ahead and calculate that. So that way, when he's having that conversation with their clients, they can mentally absorb it, and then they can digest it and so forth. And
because they know what it's going to be on a monthly basis.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So at that point, again, it's just one of those things that we provide them with the tools for them to make that decision for themselves.
And what were those tools?
The tools are payment options.
Payment options, okay.
For sure. Loan options.
Okay.
So we structured in different ways, whether they want to look at a conventional FHA, so everything's kind of up in the air. And they actually wanted to put more money down, but based off of the condition of the property, we said, you know what, maybe you should kind of hang back. So I restructured a little bit, went from conventional to an FHA product. So went from 5% down to 3.5% down. And then but, in doing so, it wasn't like a bait and switch or anything like that. It's just, one of those things that we had the conversation is an option that they decided to go with. It actually worked out for the better for them.
Did they have to include any co-signers?
Well, yes. So if you recall, I had mentioned like if we ask them, during our consultation, is there anyone else that's going to be living in the property with you? So they come. The family is it was a family living in an apartment, correct? And then so the whole family, they're going to bring their sister, their grandparents into the mix, or not grandparents, their parents into the mix. So they did have that option. Okay. It's just kind of arranging, what was going to work best for them. So then once they came back, it was just a go. It was so simple. It was such a smooth transaction that, it's scary sometimes because, when you're not fighting with your underwriter, I love our underwriters, but they look at it with a microscope, and then so when you prep that file so well and it comes back with like 0 to little conditions, it's just kind of like, okay, are they looking at it correctly?
Yeah. So
did I do everything right?
Did I do everything right? I know. Did I get the sticky note that said, "Do you know what you're doing?" No. So we got that file back, and it was a slam dunk. It was a standard close of escrow, 30 days. I think we lowered the contingency period, which. By a couple days, but nothing out of the ordinary, And then so now, have you delivered the keys?
Yeah, they got keys last night.
Oh, my
absolutely.
gosh.
We should add a picture on this.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's so that's just one story, right? But there's multiple. I mean, we've been working with each other for over 13 years.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've taken that, and that's really the driving force. What at the end of the day, because that's more meaningful to me than than really anything else. And that's why I chose my career, at the end of the day.
We have seen the difference between owning a property or not. And that's one of the reasons why we're passionate about home ownership.
Yeah.
We don't care whether you need to buy a house today, 6 months from now, or 2 years from now. We want to be part of that journey. And the reason for that is because we know the difference it's going to make in your life.
Yeah.
People who own property, make an effort, and buy, have a completely different 10, 15 years than people that don't and continue to rent. So we know that the key to long-term intergenerational wealth is first built with your first purchase.
One of the things, too, that I get, from comments and things like that from friends, and, I'm posting on social media quite a bit, and so they're like, oh, how can anyone afford, or they have that type of, mindset. And it's just like, well, it's for these individuals, like they're comfortable, and so, and that's the one thing too, that, that we have to remind ourselves is that homeownership's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Can it do leaps and bounds for a family? Absolutely. But if a family's comfortable paying, 0 to, almost nothing living at a family's house, like we're not there to motivate them to have to buy. Like that's not my job.
Yeah.
That's your job. Like if you want to, and there's no knock on that either. But I'm saying it's just like we're not there to press the issue of like why you need to buy a home. It's just like, and one of the things too, I remember as a young kid, I was like 18 years old, and one of my aunts like, dude, you need to start buying real estate. And I was just like, I'm like 18, 19 years old, and I'm like I'm still trying to party here, And but if taking that advice, if I would have taken that advice, I can tell you that things would have ended up a lot different.
Yeah.
For sure. Like if I would have taken that leap, but it was fear.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I was fearful is because I didn't know.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
And then so that's one of the things that we promote at pretty much every function or anytime. We're not there for that quick sell, which are great. Sometimes I'll have someone call me and say, "Hey, my offer was accepted. What are your rates on X, Y, and Z?" That's great. Slam dunk. But what we try to do is we offer, pretty much like our seminars. Just like if you have questions, go to the seminar.
Right.
If you don't know where to start, go to the seminar.
Yeah.
You know somebody, or you are thinking about it, or you had a thought, and you don't know where to start,
Join our seminar.
Yeah.
Because at the very least, what you're going to do is you're going to be in an environment where there's other people that are like-minded that need to take that first step.
Yes.
And that's it. As long as you the door's always open, but as long as you take that first step, like Albert said, whether it's today, tomorrow, 2 years from now, like it will be able to provide you that information. And the best thing about our seminars is that they're not boring. First of all, Albert's not talking. No.
What?
No, our seminars are engaging.
I fell asleep when you were talking.
Our seminars are super engaging.
Yes.
So we have a we have our spiel and everything that we're going to be talking about, but we let the audience dictate how we're going to go.
Ask
the
questions,
last thing I want to do is sit up there for an hour and tell them this is what the the credit collateral capacity. And like, no, dude, that's boring. Like I can look that up on YouTube. There's no purpose for me to attain those. No, but when we go in there, we start asking those questions, and then first off we'll say, what questions do you have? You don't have any questions? Great. Let's start asking the audience questions.
Yes.
And so it can be a group from 3 to 5 individuals to a group of 20 plus. And so again, some people are there just to hear what we have to say, and they're not necessarily there to buy, which is great.
Yeah.
They attended, they learned some information at the very least. They got some nuggets of information out of it.
Just guidance. I think your example it's really good because, they had a motive.
Yeah.
Now, like you said, you don't pressure anybody. You're not telling me, hey, you need to buy a home or anything like that.
Not at all.
But this couple had a motive. Like, crap, I'm having a baby.
Yeah.
We need to make this happen.
Yeah.
And that's where you guys came in. And within months, 6 months, you made it happen. In August, they thought this was going to happen for me.
Yep. Right.
And the fact that you guys both, you asked the questions, you made sure, there are options out there for you. So you made it happen for them. Then you have Albert here, putting in the offer for them and just smashing it all together, making it work for them. I think that's the beauty of
it's a one-two
all
combo.
Of this thing. Yeah, exactly.
It's a partnership that we're saying that it's needed in our industry as we move forward.
Yeah.
So because it answers the question of most people, is it a good time to buy now? No, or when is the best time to buy real estate?
Yeah.
And the answer is
whenever you're ready.
Whenever you're ready. It's such a personal thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter for us whether it's now or 6 months or 2 years, right? We just want to be that part of that journey.
Yes.
When is the right time for you?
Yes.
Yeah. So kind of when I was mentioning at the beginning, like a lot of things are data driven, which data is good. Data does serve an actual purpose, but at the end of the day, like you have to really hone in on those needs, right? It's because it's all about timing. It's all about personal preference. It's that to have that conversation and then staying in context. So one of the things too, in working with you guys to kind of circle back, is that if you and I we generate a lead together, I can assure that lead's going to come back to me. Meaning it's going to close back to me, whether it's a couple years from now, because of your retention system that you guys have. So I don't have to worry about like, did it close out? And I've seen other companies where like they create these CRMs and they give you the data, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like you closed 2% of our loans. What happened to the other 98%?
Yeah, that's questionable.
Super questionable. That's beyond my pay grade. But when you see things like that, or like you have a 20% churn ratio, things like that, which is good. But it's just like, what else are you doing? It's just like, and that's the part that that a lot of people I think don't realize, or it's just that being transparent is super important to us as real estate agents and as lenders. Because the last thing I want to do is give anybody a hot lead and then don't hear back from them, or let's say you gave them a lead a year or two ago and then they go with their buddy,
Someone else.
Or you switch them to somebody else during escrow.
Oh,
Right.
no.
Yeah, and I've had friends that we all had those stories. Thankfully, knock on wood, like I'm sure I've had it. But there are some sharks in the game for sure. It sells. So let's get that straight. It is sales. So at the end of the day, everyone's trying to compete as far as like why they should choose a certain individual, why versus another. Yeah, and again, there are some shady characters out there, and I mean that's just that's just the environment that we chose to reside in, right? But it's navigating and focusing on truth, because at the end of the day, like when I go home, like my conscience is clear.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
Absolutely.
And so I can sleep well at night. I can provide for my family knowing that what, I kicked ass, and for this purpose, like this is why I'm able to take them to Great Wolf Lodge or wherever they want to go.
Yes.
Is because I was true to our core. So that's. Yeah, I don't know. Like I get excited, so like if I can radiate my energy, like, when I get talking, I'm usually shy about this stuff just because like. It's kind of like my dad. My dad was like a super shy guy. But once you talk to him, I'm like, man, that guy doesn't shut up.
Same here.
Well, I feel the passion.
Yeah.
That is what's important. And I do feel the passion. Even just with you two, I feel it.
It's a romance.
It really is. But I'm super excited to obviously be with you guys. And we're, again, with you, Jose, we're honored to have it.
Thank you.
Well, I think the future is really bright. I think real estate right now, it's a tremendous opportunity to change, to be part of that process. And I think that moving forward, again, our relationships like the ones that we have, what is going to set us apart. We're working really closely with Jose and his company, the credit union. We love the credit union. And I think there's huge opportunities to develop more systems like the ones that we have.
Yep.
And there is no reason why we couldn't even grow more.
Yeah. No. Like Albert said, he nailed it. Like there's the sky's the limit right now.
Yeah.
And so our trajectory is like we don't know where we're gonna land, but we just know it's gonna be far.
Yes.
So that's one of the things that gets me excited every day. I'm not one to wake up and say like, hey, why is my phone not ringing? Like, no, we make things happen.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. I'm excited to have you guys join us.
Yeah.
When my branch team members like actually ask about you guys, like, hey, how's so and so doing?
Yeah.
That just tells you that's a commitment that you guys have shared with us, and I'm excited to have you guys. So thank you guys as well.
No,
Awesome.
It's so exciting. Well, the future looks bright. That's for sure. So we're just going to be hustling, moving forward, and
we're going to be doing these podcasts every so often.
Yeah, they're fun. I like them.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been doing many versions.
Maybe we should try maybe asking, just like maybe a Q&A. We'll do the next one, a little Q&A or whatever. Oh, we'll talk experiences to share a little bit what's going on in the current market with anyone's situation. We can a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we can have fun.
Life updates, whatever it can be. It's just the purpose of this is just to have fun.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys. It was fun.
All right. Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.